Good day, everyone. We are the Group 1, and today we're going to present our research proposal to you. Our research proposal for you today is entitled The Impact of COVID-19 Pandemic Towards Mental Health Among Third-Year Students from College of Education. Before we begin, I'm Arian Angela Gamboa, and I will present to you the introduction and the rationale of our research.
I am Mark Eugene Aguilas, and I will discuss our respondents and also sampling procedure.
And I'm Angelique Carbonell, and I will present to you the scope and limitations.
I am Emerlyn Diwa and I will present to you the significance of the study and the methodology.
And I am Amina Grace Gonzalez, and I'm presenting to you the instruments and the statistical treatment of data.
And I'm Miriam M. Doñas, and I'm going to present the expected output of this research.
Now we will proceed to the introduction of our research proposal. The coronavirus is commonly known by the name COVID-19. It is an infectious disease that starts from Wuhan, China, and continuously spread around the world. The virus spreads through the droplets of an infected person and spreads to another. Numerous awareness campaigns and videos are distributed to create awareness and stop the spread of the virus. Public health actions such as social distancing and necessary to reduce the spread of COVID-19. But they can make us feel isolated and lonely and can increase stress and anxiety. We are forced to stay at home and quarantine ourselves, which also affects our work, study, and other activities that require going out of our house are temporarily stopped. The world basically stops working, which businesses, tourism, and educational activities are also being affected. Schools are shifted to online classes from face to face, which technology is a big help that lets education and knowledge never stop whatever happens. Changes in society and our normal activities affects our mental health. Mental illness can affect students' motivation, concentration, and social interactions, crucial factors for students to succeed in higher education. The, the COVID-19 pandemic has brought into focus the mental health of various affected populations. It is known that the prevalence of epidemics accentuates or creates new stressors, including fear and worry for oneself or loved ones, constraints on physical movement and social activities due to quarantine and sudden and radical lifestyle changes. Then, this is the rationale of our study. The rationale of this study is to contribute to awareness and better understanding of the mental health of college students, which is increasingly affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. This study is to help the students on how to deal with the pandemic and to survive on their mental health issues. This study will show you the process that students may do cope with the new normal due to the COVID-19 pandemic and online learning experiences. This study will develop the interventions and preventive strategies to address mental health issues and difficulties faced by college students.
Statement of the problem. The researchers aim to provide answers to the following questions. So first, what is the profile of the respondents in terms of age, gender, and course? What are the significant risk factors that challenge the mental health of the respondents? Third, what are the effects of home quarantine on the academic performance of the respondents? What are the coping strategies of the respondents in terms of recreational activity, social activity, and leisure activity? And number 5, what are the possible interventions to minimize the effects of the pandemic in the mental health of respondents? So, for the scope and limitation, during this COVID-19 pandemic, there's a lot of students who suffer mental health concerns. To be more specific in the study, we have reduced the population and only conduct into third year education students in New Era University. The study also focuses on the effect of COVID-19 pandemic to the mental health. This includes interviewing all, and if not, at least most of third year college of education student that is enrolled in current academic year. Researchers conducted the study in the first semester, but further study can be conducted on different academic year. The study also aims to know the mental health concerns that is most likely to be concluded in helping the experts to know what the issue that we need to have a full attention with. Also knowing what are the experiences of students in teaching for strategy development, coping strategies, and intervention to minimize the effect of pandemic to the mental health.
Significance of the study. To the students, this study may help students to identify the causes of students' difficulties during the pandemic that leads to extreme depression. To the parent, this study will help parents to know how high the level of stress affect the studies of their children in the new normal way of learning. They can also help their child facilitate their learning to avoid the stress that leads to serious problems. To the teacher, this study would help them guide for students who are experiencing severe learning problems that cause depression. It can also be used by faculty and staff to be considerate, provide and address the students' problem in their studies. To the school administrators, this study can be used as a guide in developing interventions, coping strategies programs that are responsive to the needs of students. To the future researchers, this study may help to expand the literature available about mental health problems of college students. This study can be sourced for another studies with different respondents. So is one of the most important part. It allows the readers to evaluate the reliability and validity of the research. In this study, we will be using quantitative research. This research study will use an online survey questionnaire to collect data and analyze it through numerical data.
Instruments of the study. In the instruments of the study, we, the researchers, decided to use a questionnaire as a main resource instrument in the study. The online questionnaires would be distributed for the collection of the data and information to assess the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on the mental health of the third-year college students from the College of Education in the New Era University. It is the best method to answer research questions in this current pandemic situation. In conducting a survey, the type of question that we use is the close-ended questions that are easier to tabulate and analyze. The rating scale or the Likert scale and multiple choice question would be used as a close-ended questions.
So the respondents of the study. So the respondents of the study would be the third year students in the College of Education from New Era University at the present academic year 2020 to 2021. So our sampling procedure. In this study, the population size is 87. The sample size will be determined by using Slovin's formula. So the Slovin's formula allows a researcher to sample the population with a desired degree of accuracy. Slovin's formula gives the researcher an idea of how large the sample size needs to be to ensure a reasonable accuracy for results. A sample of 71 third-year students in the College of Education from New Era University will be the respondents. So for computing this Lovin's formula, we're going to determine the sample size, which is the n, is equal to n, which is the population size, divided by open and close parentheses 1 plus n, which is the population size, and e, which is the margin of error, squared. N is the sample size, the bigger n is the population size, and then the letter e is the margin of error. So if we're going to convert it to numbers, it's 87, which is our population size, divided by 1 plus 87 times 0.0025, which is our margin of error. That is equal to 71.45 divided by 71. Then it is equal to 71 for our 71 respondents.
For the statistical treatment of data, we would use a descriptive analysis to describe the data collected through the use of graphs and tables to determine the frequency and percentages. The frequency distribution is a type of descriptive statistics, which is a data set made up of a distribution of values or scores. You can summarize the frequency of every possible value of a variable in numbers or percentage. We will use an inferential analysis to conclude the population in which a sample is taken. The inferential statistics makes prediction and test hypotheses about our data.
So the expected output of our research is to identify the significant risk factors that increase mental health crises or affect mental health of respondents that currently is experiencing or develop due to the COVID-19 outbreak. Second is to create awareness on the importance of mental health because some students have a little knowledge about mental health and some have negative attitudes toward mental health. They will give importance to their own and others' mental health conditions just like their own physical health. Third is to develop preventive strategies and interventions to address mental health issues that may help students to cope up with difficulties and problems. And schools may also create programs that may help students. And that brings us to the end of our research proposal presentation, where we describe to investigate the impact of COVID-19 pandemic to the mental health of respondents, its importance, and how we will do our research. That's all. Thank you.